I've been noticing a recent occurrence on YouTube that personally interested me. These are called seeded world projects. Projects that involve a main animal and other animals being left on a Earth-like planet by humans or other intelligent beings to evolve and diversify in their new home. So I've decided to do one as well on the exoplanet known as Higas, an exoplanet 2 times larger than Earth, and left 10 animals to survive and diversify. So what animals did I choose? What the heck am I looking at? Well, this, my friends, is a trandifer, one of the many animals from Speculative Biology inside a McDonald's cup, a speculative biology series by the talented Bean Man the First, documenting the many microscopic creatures and plant that were discovered inside a 60s McDonald's cup, and it's one of the 10 animals that I chose from this cup to inhabit Higas. Why did I choose 10 microscopic animals to inhabit an exoplanet 2 times bigger than the Earth? Because I can. But before we begin, I just want you to know that most of these animals actually went extinct due to a connection extinction event, so this is an alternative scenario when these species didn't went extinct and were sent to Higas to populate it and evolve over millions of years out of curiosity. And now, we shall begin Project Ronald. When the animals first arrived in Higas, mainly formed new Pangea, the herbivores were more than happy to see, or feel their new environment consisting of long, tall, luscious grasses. The herbivores quickly became abundant in their new environment, since they needed to eat quite a lot to survive, but the grass blades were so large, they could only pluck bits and pieces off. The carnivores quickly settled quite nicely in the new world, since the grass aided them to hide and perform ambush attacks on unsuspecting herbivores. They, like the herbivores, spread far and wide in a rapid pace. The filter feeders, mainly Magnus Fister, floated more and more upwards, since there was now an overabundance of dust in the air, making them, like the herbivores and carnivores, widespread, and that brings us to the first descendants, Adipene pascindum and Gracilis chaser. Adipene pascindum. Pascindum is the first descendant of trandifer, and it resembles trandifer but more fat. That's because it has 2 stomachs. One is used as a storage chamber to store plant matter, the other has strong acid to break down said plant matter. This allows pascindum to eat more plant matter than trandifer ever could, making them a very successful species. Gracilis chaser. Gracilis is the first descendant of Sika chaser, and, as the name suggests, is more gracile than chaser. That makes it a perfect pursuit predator, mainly hunting in pairs of 2 individuals, and hunting pascindum herds. Gracilis's jaws have much sharper teeth and their gray sensor is much better at smelling and hearing. But these aren't the only descendants around here, since Magnus Fister has recently evolved into a new form, Lapis Fister. Lapis is the first descendant of Magnus Fister and is almost twice the size of Magnus, but unlike Magnus's weak shell, Lapis's shell has keratin plates covering its body, that helps it fend off the Deus monstrum. To better fend off predators, Lapis uses its paddle-like arms to hold their attacker and stab them with their hooked arms, and the number of arms has increased to 24. Now that's a dangerous Fister. But gigantism isn't the only thing happening with the animals, as dwarfism can also happen for many reasons. Take Magnus Fister for example, the second descendant of Magnus Fister. Magnus is about a quarter of Magnus's size, and it only has 12 arms instead of 20. That's because this body plan helps lower its weight, make it float higher distances easier, and it avoids its predators below. Magnus also started moving in groups of 3 to 5 individuals. But now it's time for Magnus to be eaten by Magnus Compren. Compren is the second descendant of Sika chaser, but unlike chaser, who's the cup's apex predator, Compren is specialized for eating Magnus Fister, Amethysta Fister and Magnus Fister. Now chaser is known to have the cup's strongest bite force since its jaw has strong muscles. Compren's jaw took that up to 11, with a bite force stronger than its ancestor, and larger muscle attachments. It is perfect to crush Fister shells. Compren mainly hunts Magnus Fister, so it floats higher than other predators to hunt them. This reduces competition with the Deus monstrum and Sika chaser. Another noteworthy adaptation is their gray sensor. The base of the sensor is more adapted for hearing and the rest is more adapted for smelling. The next 2 descendants will be from Mulchus chellae, that being Mulchus uncinus and Mulchus clavus. Mulchus uncinus, being the first descendant, shares many features of chellae, but unlike chellae, uncinus only has 30 arms with reduced bottom pincers, basically acting more as hooks more than anything. And this can be a lethal weapon against predators, which they have to constantly fight with to eat desired food. Mulchus clavus. Clavus, being the second descendant, deviates more from the chellae body plan, like having a more circular body, having only 18 arms and having the claws be fused into clubs, making it a formidable prey item for carnivores. Other than these adaptations, it's just a less armed, more aggressive chellae. But hooks and claws aren't the only new defenses against predators. Take Pullum cornu for example. The second descendant of Trandifer, Cornu, has two small spikes on its back and their head structure has moved slightly farther to the head, making them have 3 spikes. These spikes are used to defend Cornu from Gracilis, Sika or Lata otis. Another noteworthy adaptation are a pair of tusks jetting out of the mouth. These are used to defend against predators and graze grass blades. And if you thought that was crazy, you are wrong. The craziest defense mechanism goes to Minium crepitus. Crepitus, unlike the other descendants of Trandifer, is 3/4 the size of Trandifer. This reduces competition with other herbivores. Crepitus's main defense comes from 2 veins inside a thin membrane, called bombardier veins. These veins pump blood and helium inside the membrane. When Crepitus gets attacked by a predator, the bombardier veins pump explosive gases inside the membrane, causing it to explode, leaving a bloody and confused predator, allowing Crepitus to escape. Although if Crepitus do this, they need to recover from the damage, which isn't easy with a ton of predators lurking at every corner. Unfortunately, Crepitus went extinct due to having such a useless defense mechanism. Now let's talk about a much more successful species with Kaleidotalpa. Kaleido is unique among other descendants by having 24 segments on each gray sensor, making them very long. That's because they have been adapted to live underground. They use their gray sensors like shovels, digging the ground and accessing the roots that are normally hidden from view. They tap their sensors around, making consistent vibrations and making them have a clear understanding of the tunnels. But new lifestyle will inevitably have its predators, one of them being Lata obstructor. Obstructor is the first descendant of Lata otis, and it's basically otis but slightly different. But the most interesting part of this animal is its behavior. Obstructor will search for a Kaleido burrow and duck down, covering the burrow with its mouth. When a Kaleido tries to comes out, Obstructor will crush the animal's skull, killing it in the process. Now that's a grisly way to go out. The last animal for today is Cuniculum oris. Oris is the first descendant of Prostrictus, and like Obstructor, it's not too different from its ancestor. The behavior is where this animal shines or dims. Oris will actively go in Kaleido burrow to consume the poor Kaleido underground, and if you know what a Prostrictus does to its prey, you'll get a pretty clear picture on how it feeds. And we finally concluded part 1 of this project, but so many more that are waiting to be discussed. But this we're end for now. Goodbye y'all.